Amazon has renewed Mr. and Mrs. Smith for a second season, but this confirmation may have inadvertently revealed the fates of Donald Glover and Maya Erskine's titular couple. The Mr. and Mrs. Smith movie was a high-profile spec script that attracted Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, but while the film was a major success in 2005, it became better known for their off-screen romance than the film itself. When a planned sequel failed to appear, the property sat on the shelf for years before Amazon rebooted it as a TV series in 2024. Mr. and Mrs. Smith 2024 cast Donald Glover and Maya Erskine as two assassins paired together as a married couple. The Smiths' mysterious boss, Hi-Hi, issues them various assignments throughout the season, with the two learning to become partners both on the job and off. The Season 1 finale left John and Jane in a tough spot, where after Hi-Hi orders them to kill each other, they instead reconcile and get targeted by another Smith hit team. In the final scene, Jane prepares to leave their safe room to save the dying John, but their fates are left ambiguous. Donald Glover and Maya Erskine not returning for Mr. and Mrs. Smith Season 2 suggests Jane and John are dead. Mr. and Mrs. Smith Season 1 ending might be more conclusive than it appeared. Mr. and Mrs. Smith Season 1 ending worked on a couple of levels. It could either be a bittersweet series finale in its own right or a cliffhanger setting up another season where the Smiths go on the run. It now looks like neither is the case, because while Amazon has renewed Mr. and Mrs. Smith for Season 2, it looks like neither Glover nor Erskine will return, via Variety. It should be noted they're not expected to appear at this time, which could mean talks are either ongoing or they could make guest appearances instead. Of course, the implication behind Glover and Erskine's characters not returning is obvious. Glover's John and Erskine's Jane likely died in Mr. and Mrs. Smith's finale, so Season 2 will instead follow a new couple. The show itself set this up with the existence of other spy couples with the Smith name, with the opening scene featuring Alexander Skarsgård and Isa Gonzalez's Smiths being assassinated by their bosses. The show might be taking more of an anthology route, where every season features new actors in the title roles to keep it fresh. What Donald Glover and Maya Erskine's absences mean for Mr. and Mrs. Smith Season 2's story. Mr. and Mrs. Smith Season 1 left many questions unanswered. If a new couple fronts Mr. and Mrs. Smith Season 2, that doesn't mean the unresolved mysteries from Year 1 will be left unexplained. It would be dull if another season featured the same basic journey, so the second outing needs to find a fresh angle while expanding on the world. Some questions Season 2 needs to answer include the identity of Hi-Hi, who created the agency in the first place, and if the original 2005 film is canon with Amazon's revival.